Hi, I'm Michelle with the Discovery Science Center and Planetarium, and I'm here to teach all of you how to use the launcher for the Great Rocket Challenge. Before I begin, we have to go over, because the children are going to be watching this, where the kids should be and safety involving the launcher itself. Now, if you are outdoors, when you're launching the rocket, the safest place for all the children to be is behind the physical launcher. I would recommend there be at least 15 to 20 feet in between where the launcher is and where the first row of kids is going to sit. If you are indoors, like in a gymnasium, you're going to have the rocket launcher in the middle towards one end, and the kids can all sit backs against the wall, lining the other walls of the gymnasium going down. When it's time to actually launch, only one kid from each group is going to come up with their rocket. The rest of the group must stay seated, and the child that comes up is going to be the safety and compliance supervisor for that group. Okay, now, setup of the actual launcher. This is the launcher itself. It uses air pressure in order to launch the rockets. Now, when you get it set down, you're going to want to set it on as flat of a surface as possible. This is the front of the launcher. This is the back. This needs to be set at an angle. We are not shooting the rocket straight up into the air. Usually around a 30 to 45-ish degree angle is fine. Honestly, as long as the angle is consistent with every single launch, that's the main factor. So as long as you set it and it doesn't get touched, you should be good for the angle of the rocket. Now, this does require air pressure. We are going to be sending you, along with the launcher itself, a bike pump. Here at the end is the valve. You just stick this on, turn it down. Now, depending on the bike pump we sent you, it sometimes has weird things where one direction is locked, the other is unlocked. Just give it a few pumps to see if it holds air. That'll let you know. Okay. All right. The pump stays hooked up the whole time. To actually launch, the child who is launching is going to be on this side of the rocket. You or a staff member is going to be on this side. Now, what you need to do, your job is to hold down the rocket to make sure it does not move. Please do not step or stand on the rocket launcher in any way, shape, or form. It is just PVC tubing. Typically speaking, the weight of you pressing down like this is going to be more than enough to hold it in place. Now, for the child actually launching, in order to build up pressure, the lever has to be perpendicular to the rocket launcher. This means it is closed. It's going to build up pressure. When it's time to launch, you're going to want to make sure there is nobody downfield of the rocket launcher. Have the kids slide their rocket over. Okay. They're going to be on this side, you're going to be on that side. You're going to have a countdown. You're going to say 3, 2, 1, launch. And on launch, what they're going to do is they are going to turn this lever parallel to the rest of the rocket, the launcher. It is very important that when they do this, they go as smoothly and quickly as possible to release all of the air at once. I'm going to do this backwards, but it'll look like this. Now, what you may want to do with the student first is before you add any air into it, you might want to have them practice that turning motion to make sure it's as smooth as possible. Just make sure the lever's back perpendicular before you add in any air. Okay. Once the rocket is on, They've practiced, it's in perpendicular, the level's perpendicular. You're going to use the pump to add the correct number of PSI to their rocket. The PSI will be however much they purchased during the build of their rocket. Now, once the rocket has been launched, you're going to want to measure the distance. Typically, the way we choose to measure the distance, we go from the very edge of the launcher, and then we roll forward, and I usually end it at the farthest facing point of the rocket in that direction. Normally that's the nose cone. Some rockets do a flip while they're in midair, but whatever is the farthest point of the rocket away from the launcher, that's when I end it. So you'll go through 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. If you're launching indoors and the rocket has hit something and fallen down, there's no redo. That's how far their rocket went. Once you have their distance and you record their distance, you can then figure out who has the most cost-effective rocket. The way you do that is you take the cost of their rocket, that's how much money they spent in total, and you divide it by the distance their rocket went. Whichever team has the lowest number at the end of those calculations is the winner of the Great Rocket Challenge.